Hello, Lee here. So I apologise that my setup is swinging. It's very sensitive. I don't want to touch it much more than I have to. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is get all of my pieces that I have cut out into order so that they are all with they're all laid out in front of me, and I can see exactly where the pieces are that I want to use. Excuse me. Now this is something that when you're making anything like this, having the pieces organized really helps to make the process of all the gluing, etc., much more straightforward. So bear with me while I do this. How are you all? I hope everybody is okay. Weather has turned cold, which doesn't really bother me. With the newfound energy that I have in my system, my body is apparently quite keen to keep its quite willing to maintain the energy level, the warmth in my body. So it's probably close to 10 degrees outside, and I am sat here in a t-shirt, in a but no, it's not a t-shirt, it's a long sleeve sweatshirt, but it's a thin sweatshirt. That's outer edge, and as you can, I hope you can see, I'll put those two because they are both, that's a heavy stack. Once I have organized these pieces, outer edge, outer edge, outer edge, outer edge, outer edge, outer edge, I will be able to move them around so that the ones that I need are to hand. At this point the organisation seems probably excessive, but will make a huge difference when I come to doing the job. So those are outer struts, I don't need those. Those are the middle tube, I also don't need those. These are, I might get to those today, in fact I probably will. And we shall see how we get on. I'm going to do both. I've got the two discs, I'm going to do both of those. So let's begin. Once I've done it, once you see me doing it once, the rest of it will make sense. First thing I need to do is the disc needs to be in the middle of this tube. So yeah, things are pretty good. I'm having all this extra energy is wonderful. Yesterday I worked out and still had the energy to to sort through and move about 50 heavy boxes later on in the day. When I work out, I do try to work out to failure, which is the concept of lifting weights until the weights are until I can't lift them anymore. I know that is the kind of the point at which I get the maximum benefit, and the point at which my muscles will grow more. And yet I still seem to have so much energy. It's amazing. Appetite is pretty reduced. I mean, I've had yogurt, whole milk yogurt and some frozen berries today so far. I'm gonna make myself another meal because I should eat more, but I'm really not that hungry. I'm just not. Yeah. So something we may come across while I'm doing this is my calculations may not have been sufficient for making the inner structure, like the skeleton is really what I'm making of these pieces. So we may have to cut some more, which is perfectly fine. That's not a problem. What I'm doing now is I'm holding the pieces in place because the cardboard wants to open out. So I'm holding these pieces in place so that the glue has time to stick, and then the cardboard is solid. Yeah. Takes a little while, takes some patience, but patience is not a problem because I'm in no rush. A bit of sadness recently because my going to a local, I don't go out very often with my autism. I just don't. The sun is overwhelming, the noise is overwhelming. I don't want to be out in that. But on a Friday night we would go to karaoke, which was quite far away from, it's almost dry, where we live. I get that, it's a fair old drive. And I'm going to do, to help keep this, actually no, I don't need to put supports in that, that's fine. I was going to put some ties down to help keep the structure solid. Interestingly, I've got enough for the one, but where are the parts for the other disc? I've got enough for one disc, and then we'll see what we have. I guess one thing I need to do really is really allow the glue, the hot glue, to cool and bond the cardboard. So rather than doing this and then putting them on like this and then adding a pile of other struts and things, I'm going to let them dry. Yeah. Now, what I'm doing in here is, now that I have the two pieces aligned, I'm adding glue to fill the hole and bond the cardboard. And you can see that way what I've done is we have this shape. I'm using a small hot glue gun because those are the sticks that I have at the moment. I normally like to use a larger larger stick, but you use what you have, right? Yeah. So I've got people that want to talk to me, and that's great. It is. But I'm finding myself overwhelmed by lots of people wanting to talk. I really shouldn't allow myself with the new exercising and the mental capacity. I should actually begin to think about, let's start adding more into the more communication, maybe into the day that I have. It's very strange that I didn't cut out a second of these. It's holding on fine. So I just realised that the ship is the same shape up and down, and that means where I've actually got these, I've got these particular pieces and I slanted them. What I actually need to do is have them slanting both sides. And the thing about this particular model is it's once, as I said, I'm putting the glued thing aside, this cylinder glued, wait for it to dry, and then I can add other pieces. But for now, what I need to do is find myself a pencil and I want to make this into like an arrowhead rather than just the regular slant. So that is there. Measure twice, cut once. I hope you all recognise that saying. It's about making sure that you are that's better, that makes more sense. Measure twice, cut once basically means that if I take the time to measure clearly what I need or what I want to cut, it will save me from making mistakes, because mistakes are actually quite easy to make in this situation. What am I looking for? What am I doing? I'm looking for the middle. That's right. Cut these all up. Glue some of them on. Then we will begin to have the thing will begin to having more of a structure that we want. What am I doing? Right. Oh. Yep. Sometimes it's confusing to think about what, because I'm moving the pieces around like I do. It can make the pieces means I can sometimes forget where yeah. So how y'all coping with this cold weather? I think I'm finding it refreshing, if I'm honest. There's certainly things going that will need to be sorted. We're not really ready for warm weather in my house. which is not. That's no big deal. But people have to start to prepare themselves for being cold. Being cold's not so bad. It really isn't. So I probably need to sharpen my scissors. The way to sharpen scissors is to get them to cut aluminium foil, and as they cut through the metal, it sharpens the scissors blades. Yeah, dead easy way to achieve that. Right, shall we glue some of these on while we're doing stuff? I can begin gluing, and then while I'm working on cutting these pieces, the glue can be cooling. See, it's very easy for me to question what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing stopping me altering my designs or plans, but as is said by the famous artist, happy little accidents can be beneficial. And that, I've got to tell you folks, is a great lesson, because let those stick. Now finish cutting these. Now what I noticed, the reason I said that about noticing something about what I've got here that may change is that the slope of the hull of the spaceship appears at this point to be more sloping than I am, well, less sloping. Sorry, I'm working and thinking, and things going on in the house around me. Less sloping than I might have liked, but that will produce a certain look to the final model that will be my own. So that's okay. That is perfectly okay. Okay, so let's think about, count how many of these I'm expecting to put around the model, because if you look, if I put too many, I've got, let me count them, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 20. That may be too many. Can it ever be too many? It can. It can. I mean, if I put 2 more of each on, that's going to be enough. So I currently have 4. And I don't need 20 now. What I may be able to do, if these are the same height, yes, I would probably be able to repurpose some of these as discs to cover the to make the tube. So again, happy little accident. Do any of you make anything? Do any of you spend time crafting? Do you sew? Do you sing? I try to yeah, I do this. I play Dungeons and Dragons, which is a great outlet for my imagination. It's playing Dungeons and Dragons is one of the ways that I encourage myself to socialize, because otherwise I would hardly ever socialize. I like socializing with people, but they have to be genuine, and they have to not have ulterior motives for being my friend. I may talk about that one day, but I may not, because quite frankly it doesn't deserve it at the time. So what do you folks do for the season? I say do for Christmas. I'm British, so we don't think about Thanksgiving quite that way. We certainly don't think about it we don't celebrate it in the same way Americans do. It's just because it's an American holiday, in the same way that America doesn't celebrate some of ours. November the 5th being one of them. It's a very British holiday. So I've got 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So I need 12 in total for the other ring. Oh my goodness. I really butchered that one with the knife. So it's 12, and I have 1 2 3 5 6 7 8 9. I may not have enough. Ooh, well, how about we don't put in 2? How about we only put in 4, which would mean I need 8. 4, One of the issues with making a model out of cardboard in this way is once you start getting into it, once you start getting the big structure made, it becomes heavy, too heavy to lift, too heavy to manipulate so you can get to various places. One of the issues I'm going to have with this particular model is the weight and the nature of the design. 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. So I need so there's 4 that goes onto that other disc, and there's 4 there cut. So I want to cut 4 more, then we should be pretty good. Then I've got to work out I need to cut those back. I need to cut the other plates of this back so I can use it to surround the disc and use it as part of the tube. Now, something that occurs to me is that I've just changed the shape of part of the inner structure. That's not what I want. This is what I want. So I'm going to have to think about how I am going to make the middle tube stick to these pieces. What I'm probably going to do, thinking about it, is make a small incision along the center of the next tube that will go on this, and then I will have it will fit to the shape of these pieces that I have just cut. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I dropped 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. One of the things when you're cutting up cardboard like this is you have to keep your space, your workstation, relatively clear of detritus in order to encourage the piece to because bits can get stuck, because you can lose what you're doing, you can forget what's going on. It just makes spending those few seconds clearing up your desk can make all the difference to how well you produce what you're doing. Just let the glue dry on that one. So on these points I'm using double thicknesses of cardboard, which does mean that at some points the there's a lot of kind of bits of the cardboard where I've cut it flying around, and we don't really want that if we can help it, because we want the surfaces to be as clean as they can so the glue will stick quite happily. Now that is just going to sit and dry. While I cut these other ones down so that I can use them to surround the disc. I'm going to use scissors to cut. Sometimes it makes about more sense to use, I don't really want to call it a Sharpie, but a blade. Sometimes it makes more sense to use scissors. Personal choice, really. Easily got enough here to do that. Next, that section around the circle. We'll see how we get on. So what's been happening in my life lately? Well, I'm not going to get into politics, but all of that happened. It makes life for everyone unstable. Yeah, I find it... No, let's not get into that. I don't want to be that person. Been calling my dad more often. Really, because it's a good thing to do, and I know he appreciates it. And it's good for me as well to be making that communication. Probably need to call my uncle, his brother. I haven't spoken to him for a while, and I know he likes to be in contact. So these cardboard sections are very well made, in my experience, which means that I have an interesting time trying to get them to stay curved, because they don't want to. They are what didn't I do? I didn't measure up the height where the disc is going to go. Now I have. Put you there. Now the nice thing about doing it with these size pieces is, as you can see, I can do this one-handed, which is very useful. Got myself with the end of the glue gun. Wait for that to stick. So how do you folks cope with uncertainty? How do you deal with things that are out of your control? I am trying to adjust myself, to allow myself to adjust, to change, and if I really can't change it, to not worry about it. Yeah. Because worrying about it only has me using energy. My worries don't change the situation, and they certainly don't impact anybody that I'm worrying about. Yeah. So, what's the point in being overly? What's the point in being overly worried or worrying about something that I can't change, right? Doesn't do anyone any good. Certainly doesn't do me any good. So I'm not going to do it. Nearer the time when things might happen, I will take concerns. I think the thing about worrying is that being able to recognize when something that is being worried about is a legitimate worry. You know, like if I'm going to swim in the ocean, jump off a boat, swim in the ocean for fun, I need to be aware that there could be creatures in the sea. I'm thinking sharks, but there's probably others that could cause me difficulties. But once you've taken the precautions against such a thing, anything more than that is an unnecessary worry. I know the military, when they dive in the sea for fun, they always appoint like a lifeguard keep an eye out for sharks and such creatures. That's sensible. That's not worry, that's being aware of your surroundings and taking reasonable precautions. Lots of people I know really worry about stuff, and I feel bad that they have these things going on in their heads. It's really not helpful for them. I think this disc is slightly out of, that's better. It needs to be horizontal with the floor, the top of the table. Yeah, I mean, I know people worry, and I know that that is horrific for some people because they don't know how to deal with that. But how does that worrying help them? People say, well, they can't help worrying. Well, actually you can. The reason I can say that is there was a time when the person wasn't thinking about this and they weren't worrying about it. They were thinking about something else. So, yeah, you can stop worrying. Maybe you need to distract yourself. Maybe you need to find out what it is that you were doing when you weren't focusing on this worry. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. It's almost glued. Yeah. It's worrying is just so unhelpful. And we've got other things we need to be worrying about, we need to be thinking about, not worrying about, thinking about. I need to be patient. Yeah, so we have to, I think for the sake of our own sanity, think about what we can do to hold it on a little bit more. What we can do to make our lives easier and trying to eliminate worries and working out why we're worrying in the first place is absolutely one of the best things we can do for ourselves. That one, I guess because the others are already stood up, will probably glue without me holding it. Let's see what we get. And then I have this last piece that will, yeah, that will fit just fine. Now what I could have done is put an elastic band around them to make them really like solid. I don't have anything like that. That one there is starting to come free. What do I have? What do I have that I can use? I mean, my hands are such good clamps for this process. Now I think that is going to stand. So if I am smart and I clear a space so I'm not going to be knocking the thing around, I can glue these others on and just leave it to dry. Yeah. I'm still getting used to having these days where I'm not depressed, not sad. I don't really know what to do myself about it. Yeah. And that one's not quite on properly. So what I can, but it'll stick. I just need to make it, reinforce it. Which, that's the whole point of making all those cardboard L pieces. Which I did do on camera, but it didn't record properly, which is a little irritating. But no big deal. It wasn't a long video anyway. I think I'm going to go and make hot cereal for the family. I think that's what they want for their dinner. And all the time I spend away from these, they can be drying. Do please like and subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that, but it does make a difference. As someone with a mental health issue, it would be nice to have some kind of income stream that is well, positive. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for spending time with me, and next time we will work out how to put on the next tubes. Bye for now.